Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm Pastor Joseph WAMACK again. I'm still the pastor. I'm still Joseph WAMACK, pastor here at the Savannah First Seventh-day Adventist Church in Savannah, Georgia. So to all of our church members and those who happen to be watching, or anybody who's my friend who's watching this, welcome. I'm here in the sanctuary at church again, and as you can see, we are still remodeling. We have our AV booth being widened, and the pews are out while we're getting ready to change the carpet, which should be in the next week or so. So I want to give you an update. We'll probably be moving back into the church sometime in late June, depending on regulations from the government. We don't want people coming in being all paranoid and feeling like they have to stay away from everybody so far. So I would just rather keep live streaming and keep doing these kind of videos if that was the only other option we have. Today I want to talk to you. I'm starting a new series at church called Advice from Dr. Luke. There are 4 Gospels in the Bible: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Luke is the third. Luke is the only one who wasn't a disciple or a follower of Jesus to write his account. And he says in the very beginning, chapter 1, verses 1 through 4, that he researched it out, he talked to people, he gathered information, and then he wrote an orderly account. So it's in Luke that you get stories that no one else has. The Good Samaritan, Zacchaeus, the story of Mary going to Elizabeth. It's wonderful stuff, great stuff. Luke was a Gentile, meaning a non-Jew, and he was writing to a Gentile, non-Jewish audience, so he explains things when he talks about them, and he uses a lot of non-religious terms. So it's a great book. He really wants you to see that Jesus was a powerful leader, someone who really loved people. You really see the love of Jesus, the love that Jesus has for people in the book of Luke. So I want to tell you about a story today that's in chapter 4. It's going to be what the sermon is about this week, but you're going to get a little concise version. In chapter 4, Jesus was in the synagogue, which is like the church. It was the Jewish house of worship, like the temple, only a smaller synagogue, and he is speaking, and in comes a man, but the man is possessed by a demon, it says. And the demon says, "We know who you are. You're the Holy One of God. Did you come here to torment us?" And Jesus shuts the demon up. He says, "Stop talking." In other words, Jesus doesn't want to have anything to do with evil coming out of, even though it's a man's mouth, he doesn't want to have anything to do with evil coming out of the mouth of this man who's possessed by a lying demon, even though the demon was speaking truth. So he tells the demon to shut up, and then he casts out the demon from the man, and it says the man remained there unharmed, which is interesting that the doctor Luke would say that. But what's interesting, it says the people were amazed because Jesus reacted with authority and power. Now, power is the ability to do something, but authority is the privilege of being able to do it, the position. And many times we have power, and when we have power, we don't exercise that power with love. So it's really about the love of power versus the power of love. So Jesus had the power, and Jesus had the authority to exercise that power because he came from heaven. He came from heaven as the Son of God, full of mercy and grace, it says in John chapter 1. And he took that power and that authority, and he always exercised it for good. He never did anything bad. So you think about any time in your life when you've had any sort of power or position, like maybe you were the boss of something. Did you exercise that power with love? Did you always have the best interest of your company or the people in the company at heart, or did you selfishly exercise that power? I remember one time I was a restaurant manager, and I had to leave for about an hour. So I turned to this young man. He was about 20, and he was the chief dishwasher. He was in charge of washing all the pots and pans, but he had 2 other guys under him. So I think the evening shift chief dishwasher position must have gone to his head. And so I said to him, "Jim, while I'm gone for this hour, will you tell the other guys underneath you to mop the floor and to put away all the food and to do what needs to be done so when I get back we can wrap it up. It'll be 11 o'clock. He says, sure, no problem. So somewhere in there that power went to Jim's head, and when I got back, the other two dishwashers under him were ready to revolt. They were ready to mutiny because I looked over and Jim had them cleaning out the trash in the corners with like a toothbrush. Telling them, get down there, do it. I'm like, Jim, 3 to 11 shift chief dishwasher doesn't carry with it a lot of responsibilities. You shouldn't necessarily let that power go to your head. All I asked you to do was to get the guys to mop and sweep and be ready to check out at 11, you see, but he moved up in his mind and he took that power and he used it for his own sense of ego gratification. So in all the problems we're having in our world right now, in the United States especially, it's not even the coronavirus, which is bad enough, but now we have all of this prejudice and hatred and police abuse and people protesting and the black man, Mr. Floyd, that was killed by the policeman having his knee on his neck and all of this revolt. It's where people are saying, I am tired of being mistreated. I'm tired of being put down. I don't necessarily need power or authority, but I'm tired of you using your power and authority to put me down. Because when power or authority is used for love, it really doesn't matter who's in charge. It's when power is misused, when power is abused, that we have to worry about our leaders. Always worry about the abuse of power by those people above you in leadership positions. And if you ever have that kind of position of any sort of influence or authority or power or leadership, use it for love. Speak truth, speak carefully, speak kindly, think before you speak. Use all of your words and actions to do good things. Bring grace into the world. Let us be people that when they look at us, they think that person exhibits the same qualities that Jesus would use: love, joy, kindness, mercy, grace, goodness. Let's not use power and authority to hurt, but to help, not to tear down, but to build up. So whatever kind of influence or power you might have, use it through God's grace to God's glory, to treat other people with kindness and respect. Let's treat people regardless of their color or their age or their sexual preference or their weight or their country of origin or how much money they make or what car they drive or what clothes they wear, whatever it is. Let's treat people as children of God. Let's treat people as Jesus treated them. When he had power and authority, he acted for good. Let's you and I use every bit of influence we have for good, for love, to build up God's kingdom, to bring mercy, to bring the world to be a better place and not worse. Let's build up. Let's not tear down. Let's love. Let's not hate. God bless you today.